Jamie was a young man with a heart full of rhythm and a head full of rhymes. Music was his lifeblood, his escape, his everything. Growing up in New York City, he found solace in the rhythm of the streets. Jamie's lyrics spoke of hope, dreams, and joy in the everyday hustle. His voice was a blend of smooth melodies and hard-hitting beats.
While my friends chased dollar signs and Wall Street dreams, I chased the green light of a stage and the evergreen spirit of Christmas.
He called himself the Christmas rapper. His music was about the spirit of giving and the warmth of family. To fuel his artistic fire, Jamie took a job at Hudson's department store.
Working as a Christmas gift wrapper might have seemed like a detour, but I embraced it with enthusiasm.
Surrounded by twinkling lights and holiday cheer, Jamie found inspiration in unexpected places. He treated every gift box like a blank canvas, his nimble fingers transforming paper into art. And as he rapped. His melodies filled the workshop, a hidden symphony of holiday spirit and rhythmic flow. Hudson's department store was a New York City institution, a towering monument to consumerism and holiday cheer. During the Christmas season, it transformed into a winter wonderland. Shoppers from all walks of life flocked to its hallowed halls. And in the heart of this bustling hive of activity, tucked away in the basement, was Jamie.
I was surrounded by a mountain of boxes, rolls of wrapping paper, and enough ribbon to circle the globe. The air hummed with the rhythmic whir of scissors and the crinkle of cellophane.
Jamie moved with a grace and precision, transforming plain boxes into glittering masterpieces. Each gift was a work of art, a testament to his dedication. But little did they know, Jamie harbored a secret dream, a dream of sharing his music with the world. Mark was at his wit's end. His career as a talent agent, once a shining beacon of success, was in shambles. His last client had fired him just weeks before Christmas, leaving him with a mountain of debt and a dwindling supply of hope.
Desperate to salvage what was left of my reputation, I had agreed to take on a last-minute job, finding a musical act for Hudson's department store's annual holiday gala. The problem was, every musician worth their salt was already booked solid.
As Mark wandered through the crowded aisles of Hudson's, his phone glued to his ear, he felt a growing sense of despair. The festive cheer around him only amplified his own sense of failure. Just as he was about to give up and accept his fate as a washed-up has-been, a sound stopped him in his tracks. It was a melody, a rhythm, a voice that seemed to emanate from the very walls of the department store.
Intrigued, I followed the sound, my footsteps echoing through the crowded aisles. I pushed past racks of clothes, weaved through shoppers laden with bags, and finally found myself standing at the entrance to the gift-wrapping department. And there, amidst the chaos of ribbons and bows, I saw him.
He was a young man, barely out of his teens, with a mischievous grin and a Santa hat perched precariously on his head. He wore a green apron, standard issue for all Hudson's gift wrappers, but on him, it seemed less like a uniform and more like a stage costume.
In his hands, a simple gift box transformed into a percussion instrument, his fingers flying across its surface in a blur of motion. But it was his voice that truly captivated me. It was a rich baritone full of warmth and soul that belied his youthful appearance. He rapped with an ease and confidence that made it clear this was no mere hobby. This was his passion, his purpose, his everything.
Mark stood there, mesmerized, as the young man's rhymes washed over him. He rapped about the joy of giving, the importance of family, the magic that filled the air during the holiday season. His words were infused with a sincerity, a genuine love for Christmas that transcended the commercialism that surrounded them. This wasn't the usual saccharine holiday fare. This was something different, something special, something real. This was a raw talent, a diamond in the rough, and Mark, for all his recent failures, recognized it instantly. A slow smile spread across Mark's face. Could this be it? Could this young man be the answer to his prayers? He needed a miracle, a Hail Mary, and this rapping gift wrapper might just be it.
"Excuse me,"
Mark began, his voice a bit rough with disuse and nerves. The young man looked up, his eyes wary at first, then curious.
Can I help you with something, sir?
Mark took a deep breath.
"I hope so. My name is Mark and I'm a talent agent."
He paused, gauging the young man's reaction. The young man's eyes widened.
A talent agent? What are you doing down here in the gift wrapping department?
That's a long story, but the short version is I'm looking for someone special, someone with talent, someone like you.
Me? A talent? I'm just a gift wrapper, man. Nobody comes down here looking for talent.
Don't sell yourself short. I heard you rapping just now, and let me tell you, you've got something special.
You heard me rapping?
Every word. And let me tell you, it was amazing. You've got a gift, son, a real gift.
He paused, letting his words sink in.
And I think I can help you share that gift with the world.
The young man's expression softened.
You really think so?
I know so. I may not be at the top of my game right now, but I know talent when I hear it. And you, my friend, have got it in spades.
He reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card, extending it towards the young man.
Here's my card. Think about it. What have you got to lose?
Jamie stared down at the card in his hand, his mind racing. A talent agent? Here? It seemed too good to be true. He'd always dreamed of sharing his music with the world, but the reality of his situation, working a dead-end job, barely making ends meet, always brought him crashing back down to earth. He glanced back at Mark, who was watching him with an expectant look on his face. Could this be his big break? Could this be his chance to finally escape the basement and let his music soar? But doubt, like a persistent shadow, crept into his thoughts. What if this was all a big joke? What if Mark was just some washed-up has-been looking for one last shot at glory? What if he was just setting himself up for disappointment? He looked back down at the card, his thumb rubbing the embossed letters. Mark's words echoed in his ears. What have you got to lose? He took a deep breath. He was tired of living in the shadows, tired of letting his dreams gather dust. Maybe it was time to take a leap of faith to see where this unexpected opportunity might lead.
I don't know, man. This is all happening so fast. I mean, America's Got Talent? That's huge.
It is huge, but you've got the talent. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that.
Jamie looked up at Mark, his eyes filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. He ran a hand through his hair, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting thoughts. On the one hand, this was everything he'd ever dreamed of, a chance to share his music with the world, to make something of himself. But on the other hand, the thought of performing on national television, of being judged by millions of people, terrified him. He looked around the familiar chaos of the gift wrapping department, a sudden wave of nostalgia washing over him. This place, with its endless rolls of paper and mountains of boxes, had become his sanctuary, a place where he could be himself, where his music could flow freely. Could he really leave all this behind, risk it all for a shot at stardom?
Tell you what, why don't you come down to my office tomorrow and we can talk some more. I can show you what I've got in mind for your act. Who knows, maybe we can even work on some new material. I've got a feeling about you, Jamie. I think we could make some magic together.
Mark, sensing Jamie's hesitation, decided to sweeten the deal. And with that, Mark turned and walked away, leaving Jamie standing there, his heart pounding in his chest. The next day, Jamie found himself standing outside a nondescript office building, Mark's business card clutched tightly in his hand. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. Mark's office was a far cry from the glittering wonderland of Hudson's department store. It was small and sparsely furnished, with bare walls and a single window overlooking a dingy alleyway. The only sign that Mark was even remotely associated with the music industry was a dusty guitar case propped up against one wall.
So, what do you think? I've been doing some thinking about your act, and I think we need to really play up the whole Christmas angle.
Yeah, I like where your head's at, but I don't want it to be cheesy, you know? I want to stay true to myself, to my music.
Of course. This is your show, Jamie. I'm just here to help you polish it up, give it that extra bit of sparkle.
Mark and Jamie brainstormed ideas, a whiteboard filled with scribbled lyrics and musical notes. And so began a whirlwind of rehearsals, brainstorming sessions, and late-night songwriting marathons. Mark's office became their makeshift studio, the bare walls vibrating with the sounds of Jamie's music. They experimented with different beats, different lyrics, different stage personas, pushing the boundaries of what it meant to be a Christmas rapper. As the days turned into weeks, Jamie found himself thriving under Mark's guidance. Mark was a tough coach, demanding perfection from his protege, but beneath his gruff exterior, Jamie sensed a genuine desire to help him succeed.
You've got this, Jamie. I wouldn't be putting in all this time and effort if I didn't believe in you.
Mark taught him the ins and outs of the music industry, the importance of stage presence, the art of connecting with an audience. He pushed Jamie to his limits, forcing him to confront his fears, to dig deep within himself to find his voice.
There were times when I felt overwhelmed, when I doubted my abilities, when I just wanted to give up and go back to the familiar comfort of the gift wrapping department.
But each time, Mark was there to pick him up, to remind him of his talent, to encourage him to keep pushing forward. As the day of the audition drew closer, the pressure mounted. Jamie found himself plagued by doubts, his confidence waning.
What if I wasn't good enough? What if I choked on stage? What if I let Mark down?
One evening, after a particularly grueling rehearsal, Jamie found himself alone in Mark's office. He picked up a microphone, his hand trembling slightly. He closed his eyes and began to rap, his voice echoing through the empty room.
But the words felt hollow, the rhythm off.
He stopped abruptly, a wave of despair washing over him. He was a fraud, a fake. He didn't belong on a stage. He belonged in the basement of Hudson's, surrounded by wrapping paper and ribbons, his dreams safely tucked away in a box.
Just as I was about to give up, to walk away from it all, I heard a voice behind me.
Don't you dare give up on me now, Jamie.
It was Mark, his eyes filled with a mixture of disappointment and determination. Back at Hudson's department store, the Christmas spirit was in full swing. Amidst the twinkling lights and festive displays, a young woman named Lily worked tirelessly, her creative spirit transforming ordinary windows into magical wonderlands.
It's not about the recognition, it's about creating something beautiful, something that brings joy.
One evening, as Lily was putting the finishing touches on a particularly intricate window display, she noticed a familiar figure out of the corner of her eye. It was Jamie, his usual boisterous energy replaced by a quiet intensity she hadn't seen before. He stood there, his eyes glued to her window display, a look of wonder on his face.
She had always admired Jamie's infectious energy, his way of lighting up a room with his smile and his music. Gathering her courage, Lily stepped out from behind the display, a playful smile on her lips.
Jamie turned to face her, his face breaking into a wide grin. Lily, I didn't see you there. And yeah, your window displays are amazing as always.
So what brings you up to this neck of the woods? Shouldn't you be downstairs wrapping up dreams and spitting rhymes?
Jamie's smile faltered slightly.
Yeah, about that, he began, suddenly unsure how to explain his current predicament.
Perhaps it was her artistic spirit, her ability to find beauty in the everyday that drew him to her. Lily listened patiently as Jamie poured out his heart, telling her about Mark, the audition, the whirlwind of emotions he was experiencing.
Jamie, you were born to share your music with the world, she said, her voice filled with conviction. Don't let fear hold you back. You've got this.
Her words were like a shot of adrenaline, igniting a spark of determination within him. For the first time since Mark had approached him, Jamie felt a surge of confidence. As Jamie talked, Lily began to sketch in her notebook, her hand moving effortlessly across the page.
You know, she said, her eyes sparkling with inspiration, I've got a few ideas that might just take your act to the next level.
And so began a collaboration that would transform not only Jamie's act, but also their hearts. They spent hours together, brainstorming ideas, sketching out set designs, and rehearsing late into the night. Amidst the magical chaos of the department store after hours, a different kind of magic began to blossom between them. Jamie, for the first time in his life, found himself thinking about something other than his music. He was falling for Lily. But as the day of the audition drew closer, the pressure mounted.
I've got to make this work. I need to show Lily that I'm more than just a gift wrapper with a catchy stage name.
He poured every ounce of energy into his rehearsals, determined to make Lily proud.
Just be you, Jamie. That's all that matters.
The days leading up to the audition were a blur of rehearsals, costume fittings, and late-night songwriting sessions.
I need to clear my head.
One particularly stressful evening, after a disastrous run-through of his act, Jamie decided to escape the confines of Mark's office. He stepped out into the crisp December air, the city lights blurring into a kaleidoscope of colors as a light snow began to fall. He found himself drawn to Central Park, that sprawling oasis of green amidst the concrete jungle. He found an empty bench beneath a canopy of snow-laden trees and sank down onto the cold metal, his shoulders slumping with exhaustion. Jamie's head shot up at the sound of Lily's voice, his heart skipping a beat.
What are you doing here, Lily?
I could ask you the same thing. I had a feeling I might find you here. You looked like you could use some company.
Without another word, she took a seat beside him on the bench, her shoulder brushing against his. The warmth of her presence spread through him, chasing away the chill of the December night. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, watching the snow fall, the only sound the gentle rhythm of their breathing.
You've been so distant lately, so preoccupied. What's going on, Jamie?
What if I let everyone down, especially you? What if I freeze up on stage? What if I'm not good enough? I'm scared, Lily.
Don't let fear dim your light. Don't let doubt steal your joy. You have a gift, a talent that shines brighter than any Christmas light on this tree. Jamie, listen to me. You are more than enough.
She leaned in close, her breath warm against his ear.
I believe in your music, in your heart, in your dreams. And no matter what happens on that stage, know that I believe in you.
Her words were a balm to his soul, chasing away the shadows of doubt that had been clouding his judgment.
I looked into her eyes, seeing not just love and support, but also a reflection of my own worth.
He leaned in, drawn to her warmth, her strength, the unwavering belief she had in him. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation.
Backstage, I paced, each breath shallow and quick. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the silence of my own thoughts.
Gone was the familiar comfort of the gift wrapping department, the scent of pine needles and the rhythmic crinkle of cellophane.
I am minutes away from stepping onto the America's Got Talent stage, my one shot at making my dreams a reality.
He drew strength from her belief in him, her unwavering support a beacon of light in the darkness of his doubts.
I think of Lily, her words of encouragement echoing in my ears. Just be you, Jamie. That's all that matters.
The music started, a blend of classic Christmas carols and heavy bass beats that reverberated through the auditorium.
As the spotlight found me, I took a deep breath and launched into my act. Gone was the nervous young man from moments before. In his place stood the Christmas rapper, a whirlwind of energy and charisma.
The audience, initially caught off guard by his unique style, quickly warmed up to his infectious energy.
They laughed at my jokes, clapped along to the beat, and even shed a few tears during my more heartfelt verses.
He moved with a confidence he hadn't known he possessed, his body a blur of motion as he owned the stage.
Initially skeptical of his Christmas-themed rap, I found myself tapping my feet and nodding my head along to his music.
From the wings, Lily watched, her heart swelling with pride. She had never seen Jamie so alive, so in his element. As the final notes of his song faded, the auditorium erupted in thunderous applause.
But for me, the greatest reward is the look on Lily's face as I meet her gaze across the crowded auditorium.
In that moment, surrounded by the deafening roar of the crowd, their eyes met, and a silent understanding passed between them.
It's not just about the golden buzzer that awaits me, or the promise of fame and fortune that beckons. It's about the journey, the courage to chase my dreams, the transformative power of love and belief.
Jamie had found his voice, not just as a rapper, but as a young man on the cusp of something extraordinary. And as the confetti rained down, he knew that this was just the beginning of his story.